It's time for the big show with Andy Gallo and Country Jim.
Hello, everybody. I'm Andy Gallo.
And I'm Country Jim.
And we've got our guest. We've got Debbie Glenn with us. Debbie is the owner of Red Brick Tavern.
Where's that?
Shameless plug. That's in Conroe, Texas.
Downtown?
Downtown, off the square just a little bit there.
I play there every week.
And got some good groceries, for sure. I've eaten there just many, many times. And so had pizza last time I was there. And it was always good. I think probably the better food than you can get at one of these joints, you know. So
yeah,
we're known for our pizza.
There you go. There you go.
You know, my friendship with Debbie for several years has really nothing to do with why she's on here. Because if I were meeting her for the first time, just like you are, she still deserves to be on here. Yeah. But it's kind of special to me because she has really done a lot for me in playing live music in her club. I've been there for 6 years.
And that's where I want to go with this because, you know, there's a lot of live venues, but what you do at the Red Brick Tavern is really unique. I mean, you have the live music, and y'all do that, 2-3 times a week or more?
At least.
Yeah.
We grow songwriters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim's a transplant.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, I think that's unique, and I think that's I think that pulls people in for sure.
Yeah.
We like the story behind the song.
Yeah.
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 Before we get to that, I don't know so much. I know a little bit about her early exposure to music and the people in her life, her parents. So I'd like for her to talk about that for a while.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Define a while, because that's a long story. I'll try to give you the short story long.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I grew up loving music. I knew from a very young age that music was something I wanted to do. At the age of 7 or 8, I remember them pulling me out of the congregation to help lead the invocation at Marsh Lane Baptist Church.
Oh.
And
where was that?
That was in Dallas, Texas.
Oh.
Kind of my stomping grounds. I dabbled in some pageants here and there. Was always a runner-up, never a winner. At least that's what they tell me. And then
Did your parents play or sing?
No, not at all.
Any siblings?
No. My younger sister does sing a little bit. She likes to sing, but no foundation of a musical background
When
from
did
family members.
When did you first pick up a guitar?
Well, I didn't do that until I was in my 40s. It was divorce therapy.
Okay. So did you play something before then?
I played the piano growing up.
Okay.
And mostly sang. Songwriting and singing was kind of my thing.
Okay.
And it's hard to write a song without someone playing the notes. So I
Gotta have
had a really good friend, Jeremy, helped me, showed me 1, 4, 5, C, G, and D. And from there on out, that and a good capo got me a lot of places.
Yeah. Cool.
You've had a lot of people at the well. Tell me about the early days of Red Brick. You did not own a restaurant or a venue before Red Brick, right?
Well, I'm an insurance agent by trade, and raised 4 children, and got very involved in the revitalization of downtown Conroe. And during that time, met some great people: Leo Hewitt, Mayor Metcalf, J. Ross Martin, and we wanted to preserve the history. And I wasn't born here, but all of my children were. And I thought, if we start tearing down all these buildings that just need a little TLC, pretty soon we're going to have all brand new buildings, and I'm going to be driving by one of them and say, hey, honey, that's where XYZ used to be.
Yep.
And so I got very interested in helping the old timers preserve Conroe. And in doing so, J. Ross Martin became one of my very dear friends. And he took me under his wing.
Was he a musician?
Well, he was a cheerleader. Yeah. He's what I call a dreamer. And he's somebody that believes in you and pushes you to do things that you never thought you could, or that you only dreamed you could. And him and my very dear friend Martha Barnes were my dreamers. Well, my mama too, but she's always been my dreamer. Yeah. But they've been the ones that kind of spurred me on into the music. But in meeting J. Ross, we got very interested in salvaging buildings downtown for retail. And
That's gone really well, by the way.
Oh, it's, 20 years ago, people were laughing, and now they're like, how can I get one of these, Yeah. But we bought a little building that was an old Tally's Domino Hall, and we had no aspirations of doing anything in it ourselves. What we had aspirations were putting together a investment group to preserve old buildings and find the right retailers, I guess. Yeah. And a year after we had bought the old Tally's Domino Hall, it was still vacant, and we couldn't find someone with enough money to do it right or someone with enough vision to do it right. And so one day, J. Ross walked into my office and plopped down in the seat in front of me and said, what are we going to do? It's, taxes and insurance are due again. I said, oh, heck, just let's do it ourselves. And he just, with big old beaming eyes, all right, let's do it. And that's where Red Brick Tavern started.
Wow.
I got to meet him when I first started playing there. Still have that mental image of him sitting at the corner of the bar. And I always suspected that when we would count the tip money, that $100 bill came from him.
It absolutely did. He did such cool things. He would go into Dugan or some of the lesser areas, and they'd be having a fish fry, and he'd buy $1,000 worth of fish fry tickets and not tell a soul, and then just go give the fish fry tickets out to people in the community. Mm-hmm. He did so many things for people and never said a word, and he's a pillar of this community, and it was my honor to be his partner and get to make one of his dreams come true. I know that he had always wanted to own a bar. Mm-hmm. And I told him I was raised Southern Baptist, and my dad just wouldn't have his daughter owning a bar, so we'd have to have an establishment that was mostly food with a bar.
There you go. Yeah.
And I love the place. There's a saying about how to make $1 million in music, in country music. And the answer to that is that you start with $2 million.
That's right.
Well, since inflation, I think it's 3.
And you lose a couple million. Yeah,
and
you lose a couple.
And
you really
do. Debbie has kept live music going there because she loves it. She loves the people that play. I don't want to get mushy, but she loves me, and I love her.
Well, I was going to say this, the atmosphere. The first time I walked in there, which is, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago, maybe somebody told me, my son actually said, man, you need to eat at this place. It's called the Red Brick Tavern. And I thought it was the old Domino Hall, but I wasn't sure because I grew up here. So, and I'm going, this looks familiar, and so we went in there and ate, my wife and I, and we're going, man, this is, so you definitely hit the mark for sure by opening up Red Brick Tavern for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I have to give the credit to the guys in the kitchen. They get there every morning at 6:30, and everything is prepped.
Yeah.
We don't buy frozen.
And you can
everything
tell.
is from my grandma's recipes and some from other recipes that we've collected, and they're definitely made with love.
And it's not only the food though; it's the people that you got there work. And I say working for you. I'm going to say working with you, really, because
we're a team.
That's just it. Because if you got people that do what these girls and guys do, it's got to be a team. You can't have people working for you, because believe me, I've learned that a long time ago. You won't get nothing done, if people are working for you. So it's the people too. Not only the food, but the people and the atmosphere. And when CJ's there, it's even better, So, hey,
We try to build a culture where when someone mentions our name and they associate it with an employee, that employee out in the community is proud that they work and that they are a team member and a family member at Red Brick Tavern.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about, let's go back, you talked about songwriting. When did that all start, the songwriting thing?
Well, for me, I've been writing poetry, and I wouldn't call it songs, but poetry since I was in grade school. And, you sometimes think those are silly and you move on. And my mom didn't let me forget. She collected all the pieces of paper, and they filled up a pretty large box. And so
That's cool.
Well, when did you, after you're writing that, it started out as poetry, but when did you say, hey, this could be a song, or maybe I'm going to, see what I can do about making this into music?
So I would say that probably where I started thinking I actually could write songs. Well, a couple things happened. I went to Nashville to see Tony Arata receive the Songwriter Hall of Fame Award. He wrote The Dance and Dreaming with My Eyes Wide Open, and Here I Am. And so I was up in Nashville for that event, and I drove out to my granddaddy's old place, trying to find it. He had just passed away. And I drove up into the old hills of New Shiloh, Tennessee, and found his old home site, and it had just recently burned down. It hit me. And so then I found the old river that he used to play in as a boy, and I sat down on the banks of that river, and it just came out. It just flowed. And so I thought, well, this is cool, but I'm pretty critical of my work, and so I kind of tucked it in another box and didn't say much. And then I had a couple of song ideas, and I reached out to a really good friend of mine, Mr. Tony Ramey. And Tony is, I think he's double platinum, 8 gold at last count. He's written for...
Who?
George Strait?
Well, he wrote for George Strait for 8 years. He's been covered by Ray Price, Alabama, Aaron Watson, Johnny Lee. I mean, just the names are just heavy hitters. He's an amazing songwriter. He was playing our songwriter night.
Yeah, I've seen him at Red Brick Tavern. It was really great. Yeah.
I told him, I said, "Hey Tony, I've got an idea for a song," and I told him, pretty much the 2 or 3 lines for the song, and he looked at me. He goes, "My goodness, Debbie, that's a great hook." And so we sat down and wrote that song, and I have written several since.
Wow.
And you want to say anything about Southern Disposition?
Oh my goodness, what should I say about that?
Let me say it. It's a really good band. I've seen them a number of times. You can see them like once a month at Red Brick Tavern. She's taken them down to the islands, some exotic place. I forget where all that is.
It was just Belize.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not a Mexican border town, right?
It's deep down in there.
Yeah.
And
but we went down to play Jerry Jeff Walker's birthday party.
Yeah.
Last 3 years he was alive. We were very honored. Conrad Olson had been inviting me down for quite some time. He
where was
heard
that
me
place
singing.
you took me over in Louisiana at?
That's Bo's Extravaganza. I got to play Bo's Extravaganza, which is John Schneider's birthday party.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And then I brought John Schneider over to Main Street Crossing and opened up for him. And I've opened up for Leroy Parnell.
And who all has been in Red Brick?
You don't have that much time in your broadcast.
Okay, well,
but some of my favorites would be Tony Arata, who wrote The Dance for Garth Brooks. Fred Knobloch, pretty cool writer. Leroy Parnell. John Schneider, Julia Cole, Parker McCollum. Like I said, we grow songwriters. Yeah.
And is it true that Jim Sloan's there every Sunday doing the Sunday Gospel Brunch? I heard that.
It's the best kept secret in Conroe.
Okay, so before we run out of time, talk to me about the song that won the award. What was that, best song of the year, or what was that?
That was the CMA of Texas. I think it was 2018 Female Songwriter of the Year.
Yeah.
One of the first songs that I sat down and wrote, and I actually co-wrote it with Tony and submitted it into CMA of Texas, and it's called Getting Over You. Cool. And got a phone call a couple weeks later. They said, "Miss Glenn, we really love your song." And I said, "Oh, thank you." And she said, "Would you come play it at our award show?" And I said, "Surely I would love to." "Well, would you do it full band? Because it won an award." And I was very quiet there for a minute, and you just have to know the guys in my band. I was like, did Billy put you up to this? She's like, no, who's Billy? Okay, never mind.
Billy Hillman.
Why don't we get an
great.
acoustic version? Can we do that?
We can sure try.
Yeah.
I've a whiskey on your memory, drown out the pain. When the glass is empty, I'm empty again. At the bottom of a bottle, there's another on the wall. I go on and on and on till I hear last call. I ain't getting anywhere, getting over you. I can say I'm almost there, heaven knows it ain't true. And as far as heartaches go, don't matter what I do. Oh, I ain't getting anywhere, no, getting over you. Few times I dialed your number, I hung up the phone. Deep down there's still a hunger, gnaws me to the bone. A few turns on the dance floor, I'll be feeling fine. I'll go round and round and round, right back on my mind. And I ain't getting anywhere, getting over you. I can say I'm almost there, heaven knows it ain't true. But as far as heartaches go, no matter what I do, I ain't getting anywhere, no, getting over you. I ain't getting anywhere, no, getting over you. I put whiskey on your memory to drown out the pain. When the glass is empty, I'm empty again.
That's pretty.
All right.
I like that.
Thank you.
Debbie, we sure do appreciate you being on the podcast with us.
Well, I sure do appreciate you having me.
We'll see you folks later.
Adios, everybody.
Thanks for listening to The Big Show with Andy Gallo and Country Jim.
This has been a Unicap Media presentation.